Hello and welcome to Getting Real. I'm Joshua Halstead.
I'm Michael Halstead.
And it's the weekend of January the 5th, the first official weekend of 2018, and with it comes two brand new films into the theaters, Insidious: The Last Key and Molly's Game. So let's go ahead and start with Insidious: The Last Key, which we saw Thursday. What were your thoughts on Insidious?
There was a lot that I liked. There was a lot that I didn't. I really liked most of the scenes that had nothing to do with the sidekicks, and hated just about every single scene with the sidekicks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't see the other Insidious films. I had no interest in seeing them. I'm not a big Lee Winnell fan. I don't like Saw, really. I don't like anything that Lee Winnell has made that much. There are a few films I think break the Lin Winnell issue, as I call it, which is essentially a bunch of great concepts and bad execution. But even those I'm not a big fan of. I can respect their filmmaking. I respect their filmmaking prowess, but they just aren't for me.
Yeah, I really liked the first Saw. I think it was done really well. I liked the second one, the third one not so much.
These films never really interested me. But I thought going into this one, because I saw a lot of stuff online saying, a lot of critics saying, it's just, we're tired of the same scares from the other films. Like, well, I'll probably enjoy it more than a lot of the critics because I didn't see the other ones.
We don't have that fatigue.
Yeah. And I knew every single scare that was coming, when it was coming, how it was coming, what was about to happen throughout the entire film.
I thought there were a couple that were unexpected that were done pretty well.
The only time in the entire film where anything surprised me was the opening 20 minutes. But I don't think the scares surprised me as much as the fact that it worked well enough that the creepy atmosphere compensated for the kind of lackluster scares.
Yeah, I almost wish the whole movie would have been the same as the first 20 minutes of the film.
I mean,
that was the best part of the whole movie, I think.
I honestly think it was, and I mean, that's, at the risk of the fact that would be, I guess, sort of similar to the way that they're doing Conjuring and all that stuff, and I think that would have been a much better film. That was really good. It has the little girl that plays Ava Morgenstern in Girl Meets World, and she was doing a really good job, and it was legitimately creepy. I don't know what happened between the first 20 minutes and the rest of the film. The dialogue went from almost Conjuring level to the most hokey dialogue.
Yeah, I think a lot of the blame falls on the fact that they were trying to create humor around the sidekicks, and I didn't really think any of that humor landed.
No.
I mentioned it bordered on creepy because two of the girls they're hitting on, it's not quite clear if they're in high school or not, but then that's a major subplot of the film, so...
I think by the end, you're supposed to assume that they're college age, but even at that, Lee Winnell is like 42.
Yeah.
So it's still uncomfortable. And they don't really establish an age, but they're still listening to their father. That part made me a little bit uncomfortable. Yeah. And Lee Winnell he's in the film, and here's the thing, Lee Winnell is not a bad actor. He was in the first Saw film, he was good. He's not a bad actor. He's writing the character for himself, and he's writing this over-the-top, silly, zany side character. And it's like, it reminded me of, and I know you're reading on the film, but it reminded me of Star Wars Episode 8 to the extent that they break from otherwise seriousness to go into a comedy bit. But in Star Wars, even though I think the bits shouldn't have been there, the bits are at least funny and land. None of these bits land. It breaks from trying to be a serious, scary, dramatic story to have these shoehorned in comedy bits with Lee Winnell and his buddy, and none of them land. Would you recommend Insidious to horror fans?
I can't say that I would, because as a horror fan, I honestly found the movie to be just a drag. It couldn't decide on the tone it wanted, the writing was bad, and I just sat there waiting for the end.
I read the review of the film. I gave it a D. So I think surprisingly, I actually am less harsh on it than you are. I mean, first of all, I'm a huge horror movie fan.
I think a D's... There were some redeeming elements, so I can give it an F because of that. So I'm going to go a D as well.
I would say if you're a big horror movie fan, and you can go matinee or when it's cheap, it's probably worth it for you if you're a big fan of horror movies, especially supernatural horror films. But I don't think you're going to leave the theater thinking, I just watched a great film. I think go in with the expectation I'm watching essentially a cheesy B-grade film for the sake of just sitting in the theater with an audience and watching something kind of fun, scary flick. Yeah. And you'll probably have fun one time if you're a horror movie fan. So the second film we got this weekend was Molly's Game by Aaron Sorkin, which is technically, I guess, came out last year, but the way we decided to work everything is, going off wide release here out. So wide release for Molly's Game was this weekend.
That was, and I really, really liked that movie. I've liked everything of Aaron Sorkin's that I've seen. Granted, I have a lot more that I need to see of his, but everything of his I've seen, I've really liked, and this is no exception. There were some things where I can see that I would have liked to have done something some way else, but honestly, there wasn't a lot for me to pick apart in the film.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be... Aaron Sorkin is probably my number 2 or 3 favorite living active writer. I adore Aaron Sorkin. I've watched every episode of West Wing, every episode of Newsroom. I've watched every single one of his films. I love Aaron Sorkin. This is by no means his best script.
Yeah.
To put that out there now, it's not his best script. There are parts where it's a bit cliched. There are parts where you see what's coming. But Aaron Sorkin, what has always stood out his films isn't that he does a bunch of new things with where the story goes. He writes dialogue so snappy, so quick, so realistic, and so fascinating that you can't help but get pulled in. And he does it again in Molly's Game. And when he needs to deliver humor, he delivers that humor. When he needs to deliver emotion, drama, he delivers it.
Yeah.
You know, if you're watching a Sorkin film, that's gonna happen. This is his first time directing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's quite as competent as a director yet as he is as a writer, but he's really good.
Yeah, I thought he did a great job directing. I did a great job writing. I didn't really have any complaints about the direction of the film. I thought it was still better than half the films that are being pushed out nowadays as far as directing goes. And the script was definitely superior to a lot of movies that are coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote a review for this one as well, because this week was a weird week for you, but you know, I do talk in there. The only real issues I have with that, Sorkin doesn't know how to handle action. There was one specific scene that's kind of a fight scene, without spoiling anything, where it was just edited so weird and choppy and quick, and the camera was shaking around so much. Shaky cam can be used to great effect, like Paul Greengrass does in Bourne. It did not work.
I'm going to disagree with you there. I actually really liked the way that scene was filmed, and I thought that the impact landed. So I liked the use of the camera in that film, in that scene.
Really? There are a few scenes outside at night where the exposure is off. It's just off. And it looks bad. Especially because the rest of the film is so sleek and so beautiful.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I didn't think it looked bad either there.
But I mean, overall, it was a really, really good film.
Absolutely,
I gave it an A. I did debate between
Yeah.
A and A minus just because of a few of the moments where I felt the direction wasn't quite.
I'm going with a solid.
But,
Solid.
I think I gave it an A on my review in the end. But yeah, I mean, this is a surprisingly for January first week, surprisingly not a bad start to the year.
Yeah.
I mean, Insidious is a lot better. Like, don't get me wrong, for Insidious fans out there, it's a lot better than most January released PG-13 horror movies.
Yeah,
this is
I will
not
give
The
it that.
Void. This is not The Forest. This is significantly better. It's just not
Good.
good. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share. Tune in next week when we'll recap what came out next week. Until next time, have a great week.
Bye.